Well, welcome back, YouTube. This is Rice Paddy Reasons, and I am your Rice Paddy Daddy. Hey. So how you guys doing today? I would like to continue my thoughts on passport supply and demand today. So today I want to talk about buyer's markets versus seller's markets. So before we get started, I would like to take this opportunity to ask you to please like this video, subscribe to my channel, I could use all the help I can get, and hit that bell so you know when I drop a new video. And please leave a comment, helps with the algorithm, and I would like to know what you're thinking too. So to put it simply, a buyer's market happens when the demand for sales is high enough that the prices come down. And a seller's market is the inverse of that, when the demand for the product causes the prices to go up. So for the sake of this example, we're going to call the average guy here in the West the buyer. That means a guy that is, well, like me, a guy who makes average income. Alright, maybe I make a little above average income, but, you know, say there's a guy who's, you know, of average looks, average height, and average income, and average looks. So let's just point out right away how expensive it is to live here in the West. The cost of living is really high. As a matter of fact, even making six figures, you're still not really doing as well as you might think you are. Even a single-digit millionaire can be completely wiped out with just one lawsuit. So with the cost of living being what it is, it's only understandable that being able to be a provider and a better provider here in the West is more desirable. So if we're talking about the scenario of marriage, then being a provider is probably one of the most important things that you can do in a marriage as a man. So let's face it, guys, it's an ugly truth, but what we have is actually a seller's market if you're planning on staying here in the West. That means that there is a high price to pay in order to have this thing here in the West, okay? It is a seller's market. The sellers get to set the price, and we as buyers have to decide whether or not we can do what it takes to afford that. You know, what I talked about in my previous video was what is a good deal, all right? You have to have value, desirability, you know, time has to be spent in order for impulse to be built for a sale to happen, and then there has to be like service and presentation involved with making that sale happen as well. Now, it is possible for you to find a good deal here in the West. It's going to happen if you work that law of averages. That means that you're going to have to talk to a certain number of people. Of those people, you're going to have to deal with the people that actually want to talk to you, and then you're going to have to find out how many of those people you have something in common with, and then of those people, you have to find out who wants the same things as you, and so on and so forth, until you find what it is that you're looking for. In other words, you've found your good deal. Now, obviously, this takes both time and effort and money for you to work that law of averages in order to find your good deal. So it should speak volumes when you look at the numbers of single men here in the West, as well as the very small percentage of qualified buyers in order to get the good deals. In many cases, sellers' markets end up correcting themselves because when the prices get too high, eventually the buyers simply decide that they're going to do without that product. And since marriage is not actually a necessity for survival, a lot of guys are just simply opting out of the idea. Now, when you look at the situation overseas in different companies like Thailand or Vietnam or Colombia or Brazil, just to name a few, you are actually looking at a buyer's market in that environment. Well, first of all, just as an average guy, you're something different. You're an American, you're a foreigner. They're looking at you as something shiny and new and exotic. And because the cost of living is so much lower in a lot of these countries, then you have automatically become a better provider. Plus, in a lot of these environments, the women outnumber the men, and they're competing for your attention, and they're competing to show you the qualities that they have that you want. They understand that if they don't treat you right, and that they don't value you for being the good man that you are, then the next girl is more than willing to show you the appreciation. What this means is that because the cost of living is so much better over there than it is here, it means you can afford to go on more dates. It means that for your time and effort and money, you're actually going to be more likely to find the good deal that you're looking for over there as opposed to here. I'm telling you this so that you can better understand why this movement simply makes sense. Now, any buyer's market or seller's market will end up correcting itself, especially if it's lopsided one way or the other. But as of right now, you are looking at a buyer's market overseas. So if you guys have any questions for me about financial stability, investments, side hustles, whatever you like, please feel free to email me at ricepaddyreasons@gmail.com. I'm happy to have a conversation with any single one of you guys. So that's what I got for you guys today. I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, passports up. You guys keep growing and deserve your victory.